In today's video, I'm going to show you how we can use annotative scaling on our dimension objects to create a uniform text height when creating your drawings in your paper space. So what happens is normally what happens is we draw up everything 1:1 on our model space, and then we model in we dimension in model space as well, and then we'll go create our different viewports with our different view scales in paper space. But if we do something like that and you don't make your dimensions annotative, you get a problem where you have different font heights for your dimension text. So let's just see how that works. So if I go and let's just go and dimension up over here. Okay, there I've got 140. Okay, so I can see that scale. That's quite nicely. And let's go to one of our viewports over here. Okay, so I've set up two views over here, and if I take a look at what the scale is, this one is 1:2, and this one is 1:4. Now you'll notice over here that the two heights differ, because even though it looked fine when I was in my model space, when I start scaling to my viewports, it's not going to be the same. So how do we fix this? So there's two different ways. If I go back to my model space, I can go and actually make just this one annotative. So if I select my dimension, go to my properties, you'll see the annotative no or yes. So I'm saying yes over there. Now, at the moment, I've got, if I go back to my paper space, you'll see there that the dimension disappears. And why is that? Because when I created, or when I set up this as an annotative dimension, the only scale that it's going to be visible at is 1:1. Okay, so if I go to my annotation object scale, it only lists 1:1 over there. So it's only going to see it if I create a viewport as 1:1. So let's just go take a look at that. So go back to my ISO A0 and let's go and I'm going to make a copy of this. And let's go and say this is now 1:1. And as I create it as 1:1, you'll notice there that my object pops up over there. Okay, my dimension. So what do we need to do to add 1:2 and 1:4 as a viewport scale? Going back to my model space, select that dimension over there, go to my annotative scale and add. Once that's done, I can then go 1:2 and 1:4 and add it in there and click on OK. So now when I go back to my paper space, you'll notice there that it is showing there 140. Okay. So that's the one way of doing it. I'm just going to go and undo quickly. Just undo what I've done over here. So I've undone where I've added those annotation scales. You can see there, it's just 1:1. So a second way we could do it is to automatically, well, we could use the Autoscale, so automatically add those scales as we change the scale of our model space. So at the bottom, you'll see there I've got add scales to annotative objects when the annotation scale changes. Okay, so if that was off, put it on so it's blue. And then what I can say, right, I want to see that sort of annotation object at 1:2, and notice how it actually got bigger. So it's compensating for the fact that the drawing is going to get smaller. So instead of making the text height smaller, it actually needs to increase the size. And I also want to make it 1:4. So now it's not changing the size of the geometry, but it is showing you that the size of that font is changing over there. And if I select it, you'll notice there that you can actually see there's quite a few different sort of text objects over there. It's my dimension objects, stating that I've actually got a couple of annotation scales and annotation objects to those scales. If I go down over here, you can see the text height. Okay, 25. Just maybe make it 20. Just make it a bit smaller. So when I go to my ISO A0 now, you'll notice there that I've got on all three 1:1, 1:2, and 1:4. Now, what I've created over here is just for one dimension. If you know that you're going to be doing a whole lot of dimensions, then I would suggest using a dimension style and making it annotative. Okay, so if I do this over here, something this out over here. Select that. You'll notice there, because I'm using the standard style, it's still not annotative because I've only created that one specific dimension as annotative. So I need to make the style annotative, or from beginning create a style that is annotative. And to do that, go off to our dimension styles, and when I create a new one, just you've got a little tick box over there, annotative. So once you've created that as annotative, just need to go make sure, there we go, it's annotative over there. And the most important part is your text height. So how big do you want the text to be on the piece of paper that you're actually printing out in real life? And once this is done, then I can go over here and just start dimensioning. So there's my copy of my standard, dimensioning over there. And then to change the different scales, just click on the ones that I want. It'll add it to that. So when I go to any of my paper space environments over there, ISO A0, A1, A2, A3, A4 portrait, it will then go and put in the correct or the dimension at the correct scale, at the correct height. If I do not add one of these annotation scales to to my drawing, and I put it in on my paper space, you'll notice there that you won't actually see the drawing as previously seen in the video. Thanks very much for watching.